supposed to go to the front door. I'm not seeing front door. What am I doing wrong? On when I open up main computer of your computer or of the station computer. Okay. Well, there's some video processing thing there. So should I close that, or does that stay open? Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. And then there's a front door icon. Wow. Why don't I remember where we found this? I see it now. There it is. Okay. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. So now go to cable cast. Click that box. Oops. Thought I had that. Cable cast and then autopilot. Where are you at, brother? There you are. Whoops. That's not the right button. I do. Autopilot, force matrix. Whoops. Under KCCTV, hit live streaming computer. And make sure I change that back. Okay. That should be it, right? All right, man. Yep. And then home. Check channel 7 on the TV. See if I'm on. Huh? No, not on the internet, on the TV. Oh, remote. Turn on. TV on HDMI. You can see strummers. All right, good. Yep. All right. Want to make any guesses how far away we are from starting? That's the answer right there. I assume we're doing a national anthem. Yep. Okay. good. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Falls High Pool as we are getting set for the season opener for the Bronco boys swimming and diving team as they are getting ready to take on the Chisholm Bluestreaks. Tim Ringhofer joining you here this evening. Our first ever swim meet. Lots of first evers, of course, here on KCC-TV and on Midco Channel 7. We're happy to have you along, the Bronco boys swimming and diving team. Not a lot of numbers. If you're looking down on your screen here from what we see, you're seeing most of the kids right there. They're going to have about 12 or 13 kids tonight. Chisholm only going to swim with maybe 10 or 11 guys. No divers for Chisholm tonight. And so you're going to see a very quick meet. You're not going to see many JV races. Matter of fact, you're not going to see any JV races, which is a typical occurrence when we're watching these types of meets. But these two teams, so few members on the team here, and so you're going to see a very quick meet here tonight. Probably take a little bit over an hour. So don't go away. There's no breaks in this meet, and so we'll get things started here as soon as the coaches are ready. I can see them down there discussing things and with the starter and making sure that everything's ready to go. And when everything's ready to rock and roll, we'll do that. Let me run down a little bit of the roster for you here for International Falls. They've got just one senior on the team, and that's Alex Bissonette. He is not here this evening as he is on vacation, and so he will not be here. He's one of the better swimmers for this Bronco swimming and diving team, and brings a lot of experience and be a leader for this team. Looking at the three juniors, you've got Gavin Wilson, part of the Bronco football team. Jake Slatinsky, also there, very good swimmer, has a lot of capabilities to do multiple events and do it with different strokes. And also a junior, Cody Jansen. Looking at the sophomores, you're going to see Ethan Collishaw, Colton Hollis, Adrian Manassa, who will be the lone diver for the Broncos this evening, Anthony Scholler, Will Serrano, and also Daniel Vasiliev. So a good group of sophomores there. And then you'll see some ninth graders in Trig Hempstead and Josh Worley, and then three seventh graders in Liam Collishaw, William Ginter, and Brendan Scholler. So we'll see a majority of those kids here this evening. When you are watching the races on the screen, the top lane, that is number one, and then you'll number them down, 6 lanes down, coming down towards the bottom of the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the Broncos will always be swimming in the even numbers. And when you're looking at the scoreboard that you can see in your lower left-hand corner, their times will always be in red. And Chisholm will be swimming, obviously, then in the odd lanes, and their times will be in the gold. And we're going to turn it over to the public address announcer as we get ready for our national anthem. So welcome back here after the national anthem. We'll get our first event here underway, and it is going to be the 200 medley relay. Now we'll see all 4 strokes. Each swimmer will swim 2 lengths of the pool, down and back. And we'll start with the backstroke, go to the breast, then to the fly, and finally to the free. For International Falls, swimming in lane 2 will be William Ginter, Brendan Scholler, Ethan Collishaw, and Josh Worley. And then in lane 4, where kind of the number 1 teams will sit in 3 and 4 in the middle of the pool. So they're kind of leading out the way. Will Serrano, Jake Slatinsky, Adrian Manassa, and Colton Hollis will swim for the Broncos in lane 4. For the Chisholm Bluestreaks in lane 3,
they'll have Kylan Klimek, Jonah Gierman, Zach Quirk, and Bay Yukich. In lane 5, they will have 7th grader Nathan Splinter, 7th grader Pace Yukich, 8th grader Mason Chuck, and then in the 4th one will be a 7th grader Preston Sucho. So we'll see those racers here as they get set, as they are all getting into place. Again, the Broncos swimming in lane 2 and 4. They'll always be the even number, and you can see the swim times on the scoreboard, and the Broncos are be in the red times, and you can see the lanes there as well as we get ready to go here. So it'll be William Ginter in lane 2 for the Broncos, and Will Serrano, the 10th grader, in lane 4 to get this race underway. And our first swim meet underway here at the Falls High Pool as we get ready here. And you can see quickly out in lane 4 is Will Serrano, as he is going to be into that turn with the backstroke. Remember, after the backstroke will come the breaststroke. We'll see the racers coming off of the blocks from now on. And the Broncos having a very nice lead here, body length lead for Will Serrano in lane 4 as he comes in. And as soon as he touches, we will have the next racer in. And for the Broncos, that is Jake Slatinsky, who has got a nice lead now as he is going to be swimming the breaststroke here. For the Broncos in lane 2 will be Brendan Scholler as that race gets spread out here a little bit. And we can see Jake Slatinsky already down to the 25-yard mark as he's making his way back and has built a 3-length lead, body length lead over the swimmer from Chisholm, who is Jonah Gierman. As we get down here to the end of the breaststroke, here comes the fly, and for the International Falls Broncos, that will be Adrian Manassa, who is already out to the mid-pool area, and I hear the Chisholm swimmer go in, so nearly a third of a pool length lead here for Adrian Manassa as he finishes his first length of the pool here for the butterfly portion of this race as he pops up out from underneath. And we'll get the freestyle swimmer here. And this for the Broncos in lane 4 will be Colton Hollis as he is already into the pool, and the Chisholm swimmer now in as he dives into the pool. And so the Broncos building a lead here as the Chisholm swimmer will try to close the gap, and he has a little bit on Hollis here as they come up. And now the 3-length body lead here. The swimmer from Chisholm here in Bay Yukich making it a race here, and it looks like Yukich may come up with the win. And we can see in the times that it will be Yukich in the Chisholm Bluestreaks that will win it by 52 hundredths of a second. So they will pick up the 6 points for that win. And that's how you do that. 6 points for the Broncos, and it'll be 4 points, I believe, if I've got that right, for the Broncos. As the teams in lanes 2 and 5 will now get into their final swimmers here. So the Broncos lose by 52 hundredths of a second, 1:59. 58 is going to be their time, and the winning time for Chisholm. And what a comeback by the two final swimmers in the fly and the free. And I'll give the props there to Bay Yukich, the junior, who really made a big comeback there for the Chisholm Bluestreaks as they come up with the win in the 200 medley relay. And the Bronco time is 2:59.36 for the group of Ginter, Scholler, Kalashaw, and Worley, as they will come in third place there in 2:59.36. And the Chisholm swimmers in lane 5 will end up in 3:10.37. And again, you can see those times in the lower left-hand portion of your screen. And so the next race here now is going to be the 200 freestyle individual. 3 racers. In lane 2 for the Broncos will be Anthony Scholler. In lane 3 for Chisholm will be 8th grader Kelvin Wangenstein. And then junior Gavin Wilson will be in lane 4 here as we get ready for the 200 freestyle. 8 lengths of the pool. Quiet at the start. And all the racers off cleanly. And Gavin Wilson in lane 4 leading it out very quickly. This is, what can I say? This is his race. He likes this race. As we get going here, he's already got 1 length of the pool underway as Gavin has built a body length lead on his teammate Anthony Scholler as they come to complete the first lap of 4 laps. 8 lengths of the pool here in the 200 free. Gavin makes the turn as does Anthony Scholler. Scholler, a sophomore, and the junior in Gavin Wilson, as he has built I would say about a 3 body length lead on Anthony Scholler. Is turning now and coming back the other way is going to be Wilson. Again, this is 8 lengths of the pool, 4 entire laps for Wilson, as he is turning over very well. And of course, this is not the longest race that you can swim. You can swim 500 yards, and that race will not be swum tonight, as there was only one entry, and he said, I don't want to swim 500 by myself. I want to swim 500, do some other race. Jake Slatinsky, who does very well in their 500, they decided not to run that race, so that's why part of this meet is going to run so quickly, as here comes Gavin Wilson on his return trip on his 3rd lap. So 1 lap to go after this completion of this length of the pool, and you can see his time in the bottom part of your screen, and it's going to be it gave you the split time there of 33 seconds for that length of the pool, as Gavin Wilson looking to finish things up as we head over to lane 2, and we pick up Anthony Scholler as he has made his turn and to go to his final lap as well. And so they check up here and see what's going on with Gavin Wilson. He has made the turn, and he is coming in on his final stretch here, as he's come to the halfway length of the pool, and he is going to comfortably win this 200-yard freestyle race for Gavin Wilson of the International Falls Broncos, and he will win in a time of 2:05.65 and take first place for the Broncos. And finishing up is going to be Anthony Scholler in lane 2 with a time of 2:15.29. So the Broncos will pick up first and second place in this race, as the swimmer from Chisholm finishing up. Again, this is 200 yards, 8 lengths of the pool. And so the swimmer coming in here, and I am not sure if this is one more lap that he's got or if he's going to finish up here, and he will. Got one more length of the pool here, does Kelvin Wangenstein. So very much the way these types of meet works, you're going to get a lot of encouragement from the teammates along the way. And you can hear his teammates, and pretty soon I'm sure the Bronco faithful will join in here as well, as they want to bring Kelvin Wangenstein in here on his final 25. And I'm sure after nearly 200 yards early in the season, the arms are burning, and looking for some encouragement is definitely the thing, as I can see the Bronco swimmers below me here doing their best to encourage Kelvin to finish up this race. And Kelvin's going to finish in a time of about 3:44. We're going to give him a time there. The time did not stop, as he didn't hit the bar inside the pool hard enough, but they'll give him a time there, and there he hit it and finished the clock off at 3:50.69. Our next event is going to be the 200 IM, the individual medley. So we'll see all 4 strokes again from 3 swimmers, and all 3 of these swimmers are going to be from International Falls. It'll be Cody Jansen, the junior, in lane 2. Will Serrano will swim in lane 4, and Colton Hollis will be in lane 6. And I don't see Colton up there on lane 6, so maybe he is not going to swim this race. So this will be a two-man deal. And so just Jansen and Serrano to swim this race. 8 lengths of the pool, and they will start off with the fly, as they get that long dive underneath the water and use that to their advantage. And so very even race for these two as they come up to their first turn here in the butterfly of the 200 individual medley relay. And on the turn, Jansen maybe close the gap a little bit, as these two swimmers very, very even, as Serrano looks like maybe stretching it to a quarter body length lead here as we come down to the first turn. And they will turn over and they will go to the backstroke now, which of course is a little bit of a slower pace. And it looks like Will Serrano has built a little bit of a lead on that turn, as he already has nearly completed the first 25 yards of this race. And if I say meters, I'm apologize. Again, I know it's in yards, as Will Serrano has built a nice lead here in this 200 individual medley. After the backstroke here will come the breaststroke. As Serrano makes the turn. That length of the pool in 34.70, not too bad. As Jansen finishing up his portion of the backstroke. As Serrano working in the breaststroke here. As he heads down, this is the 5th length of the pool. There are 8 lengths, 4 laps, 50 yards each for each of the strokes. As Jansen passes mid-pool, and Serrano coming back the other way. Again, the Broncos are the only 2 swimmers in this race. Serrano in lane 4, Cody Jansen in lane 2. And they'll turn it over here, Will Serrano, and get into the freestyle, which is, of course, a much easier stroke, I would guess. One that the boys enjoy a little bit more. As Serrano makes the turn. And Cody Jansen coming back the other way on his breaststroke. And so almost nearly to the end of the pool, looking for his final 25 will be Will Serrano. As I see the Bronco cheerleaders are in attendance down on the far side, right there. Haven't heard them yet, but maybe they're just getting organized, as I just noticed. And let's pick up Serrano as he finishes up, and he will finish in a time of 2:24.41. And Jansen has made the turn for his final length of the pool here in the freestyle and this 200 individual medley. Hopefully I didn't say individual medley relay too many times. It's that medley relay just kind of flows off, and it all comes as this 200 IM has come to an end, and the Broncos will pick up all the points as Cody will finish in 2:52.49. Now we'll go to the fastest race here, and this first race is all 7th graders as we have the 50 free, so it's 2 lengths of the pool as it'll be just 1 lap, and these are all 7th graders. Remember, the Broncos are swimming in the even lane, so if you look at the top of the screen, it counts 1 down to 6 down to the bottom. So the Broncos swimming in 2, 4, and 6. Chisholm will be in lanes 1, 3, and 5 for the Broncos. Liam Collishaw in lane 2, Brendan Scholler in lane 4, and William Ginter in lane 6. For the Chisholm Bluestreaks in lane 1 will be Noah Varant. Hunter Higgins is in lane 3, and Preston, I want to make sure I get this name said correctly, folks, Sucho is in lane 6 as we are underway here in the first heat of the 50 freestyle. In lane 4 again for the Broncos is Brendan Scholler, who has built a nice lead here at the start of this race. Also in lane 6 for the Broncos there in William Ginter. He's going to hit the wall in 2nd place as they are going to turn for their final length here of this 50-yard freestyle as the Broncos come to life here this evening. It's a busy night in Bronco sports as there are 4 games or meets going on. Bronco boys hockey, Bronco boys swimming, and Bronco boys basketball all at home this evening. And the Bronco girls basketball is on the road at Virginia for an early game at 5:45. And you can see that on the scoreboard, Brendan Scholler comes in 1st place in 38:30. 2nd place goes to William Ginter in 41:78. 3rd place to the Chisholm swimmer in lane 5 of Preston Sucho. In lane 1 for Chisholm, Noah Varant comes in 4th. 5th place goes to the Chisholm swimmer in lane 3, Hunter Higgins. And the swimmer in lane 2 has, for the Broncos there, that is Liam Collishaw, has hit the wall in 106.67. And so now we will have our essentially varsity race. For the Broncos in lane 2 will be Josh Worley. Ian Collishaw will be in lane 4, and Daniel Vasiliev will be in lane 6. For Chisholm, it'll be Kylan Klimek in lane 3, and Mason Chuck. Let me make sure I'm saying Mason's name right. And he is in lane 4. So again, 2 lengths of the pool here in this race. Our next event will be the diving portion of the meet, which will go rather quickly because there will be only 1 diver here. And so let's see what happens here in this 50 free. As they get everybody organized, make sure everybody's in the right lanes. That is very important that to help the scorers and make sure everybody knows what is happening. Usually the boys wear purple, but not always the shorts that everybody's wearing here, the swimming attire. So we are ready now as everybody's got things discussed. We are ready for the second heat of the 50 free, and we are underway. Again, in lane 4 is Ethan Kolishaw for the Broncos. Lane 2, Josh Worley. Lane 3, Daniel Vasiliev. And the swimmer from Chisholm, Kylan Klimek, quickly into the lead, and in second place is going to be Mason Chuck of Chisholm. So Chisholm look like they might get 2. First and second place here is Klimek. Quickly finishing up this 50 free as he is going to blow the field away here. What a race, as he's going to finish in 25.66. Closing here for the Broncos is Ethan Kolishaw, and missed out on second place by 0.21 seconds. For the Broncos in lane 2, also coming in is going to be Josh Worley, and finishing up for the Broncos in lane 6 is going to be Daniel Vasiliev. You can see the times at the bottom corner of your screen, and make sure I get these places correct. And so we will now have the diving portion of the meet, and Adrian Manassa for the Broncos is going to be the only diver. And he is going to get some warm-up dives, and then he will get be prepared, and we'll get the judges down there, and we'll see what the scores will be here. So this is always a little warm-up time here, a little delay in the action. So we'll hopefully get things ready to go here. And so what we'll do here is we'll just zoom in, and we'll have to be very quiet during the diving portion, because, you know, we want to make sure that things are right, so the divers can concentrate, kind of like golf a little bit, if you think about it that way. So we'll see if we can get a proper picture for you here, as again, Adrian Manassa, the sophomore for the International Falls Bronco, will be the lone diver here. He will dive 6 times as we get things prepared. Well, I'm sure you heard my conversation in the background on the scoring. Relays 8-4-2 is the way the scoring will go. So in that first race, the 200 medley relay, Chisholm picked up 8 points there, and then the Broncos came in second and third, so they pick up 6 points, 4 and 2. In the 200-yard freestyle, the Broncos took first and second, so they pick up 10 points, 6 and 4 on the individuals, and the Chisholm swimmer will pick up 3 points. So after the first 2 races, it was 16-11 in favor of the Broncos. The 200 IM, the Broncos had the only 2 swimmers in that race, so they picked up all 10 points to increase their lead to 26-11. And then in the last race, Chisholm picked up the first 10 points as they took first and second, 6 and 4, and then the Broncos picked up the final 3 spots. So 3-2-1, 6 points for the Broncos. So right now we sit at 32-21, and of course with Adrian Manassa being the only diver, he will pick up the 6 points for the Broncos. So after this event, the Broncos will lead it by a margin of 38-21. Here comes the first dive for Manassa. Very nice dive. And the scores From the judges, 6.5, 5.5, and 5.5 for Manassa. So good start for Adrian. Those are very good scores, and I thought very well on that dive. Not that I'm any judge, but we all watch the Olympics, right? We kind of get a feeling for where those are at. Adrian has been diving, I believe, since he was in the 7th grade, and has become very adept as he is talking with the coaches about what he wants to do.
Adrian second dive, 201C. Back dive, tuck position, degree of difficulty, 1.5.
Back dive here in the tuck position, as you can hear the public address announcer. Second dive here for Adrian Manassa in the diving portion of this meet, as the Broncos taking on Chisholm in their season opener here at the Falls High Pool. Happy to have you along here on kcc-tv.org. See what the scores are on that. 5, 6.5, and 6. So Manassa, again, this will be 6 dives. When they get to the section meet in February, they'll have 11 dives. So he'll be working on a certain number of dives during the regular season. And as the regular season gets towards the end of the year, they'll be adding more dives and trying to up the difficulty for a chance to make it to the state meet. Top 4 divers in the 6 sections make it there, and Adrian is, I'm sure, hopeful that he'd have a chance to be able to do that.
301C, reverse dive, tuck position, degree of difficulty, 1.6.
So the degree of difficulty on this one, 1.6. So, of course, when you watch Olympic diving, you're used to seeing lots of 7s and 8s and 9s. And so the scoring is very similar. Throw out the top score, throw out the bottom score, and then you use your multiplier and get, no, not throw out all those scores. Add up your scores, excuse me, because there's only 3 judges. And take care of things from there. Multiply by the degree of difficulty, and you come up with your score. Again, a busy day in Bronco sports. The Bronco boys hockey team is at home tonight. They're taking on the Proctor Rails. Varsity at 7:30, JV at 5:30. Remember, if you are going to that game, they're trying to fill the net for the local food shelf. So bring some non-perishable food items there this evening. Degree difficulty on this dive, 1.7 for Manassa. Very scary as he's so close to the board on that. But the judges liked it. 6.5. Very consistent on the scores is Manassa on these dives. The Bronco boys basketball team is at home as they take on the Eveleth Gilbert Golden Bears. And you can see that game on YouTube if you go to the ISD 361 YouTube channel. And you become a subscriber, you can watch the JV game and the varsity game there tonight as the Broncos take on the Golden Bears. And of course we have this swim meet, so all 3 of the teams here for the Falls High are in action this evening. And then the Bronco girls basketball team, they're down in Virginia. Early start, JV game at 4:15, probably by this time getting close to past halftime. And then the varsity game actually starts at 5:45 this evening. So the girls will have an early evening getting back home. So 1.7 here. A twist in this one always makes it a little bit more difficult for Manassa. Judges doing a little discussing. 4.5, 5.5, and 5.5.
4.5, 5.5, 5.5.
So final dive coming up here for Manassa. Sophomore here from International Falls. Again, the only diver in this competition. And the number of divers, I believe last year, if I remember right, at the section meet was like maybe 11 or 12 divers only in the entire section. And so makes it interesting because you just don't see the number of divers that you used to. And you don't necessarily get to see the other people dive and see what they're doing to try and improve and enforce things to happen that way. So last dive upcoming here for Manassa. And after that, there will be a short break where the swimmers get warmed back up, and then they'll get the swimming events. Get the swimming events underway. This has a degree difficulty of 2.1 for Manassa. Wow, well done by Manassa there. It's on through on the dive. 7, 6, and 6.5 on a dive difficulty of 2.1. Wow, by Manassa. Very nicely done by Adrian there. As that will conclude the diving, and we'll let the scorekeeper do the math that they do to figure out the scores. And once they have that tabulated, we will get you the total for Manassa on his 6 dives there. And while the gentlemen get warmed up here again, we'll let that happen, and we'll take just a little bit of a break here. So enjoy watching the boys warm up. Well, welcome back here to the Falls High Pool. Again, the score after 5 events, the International Falls Broncos leading it by a score of 38-21. These two teams have met a total of 50 times, so this is the 51st time today, and the Broncos are 17-33 all-time against Chisholm, as the Broncos looking over the past few seasons, last year in their dual meets now, just dual meets, they went 0-5 last year, 1-4 the year before, so the Broncos would be very happy to get the first meet of the year, or the first dual meet of the year, and get a win underneath their belts. Last year, the Broncos lost to Chisholm by a score of 57.5 to 29.5. So this has usually been a traditional first dual meet of the year for the Broncos. And so the Broncos looking to get a dual meet win here against the Chisholm Bluestreaks. Again, let's run down the first 5 events for you here. The first event, the 200-yard medley relay, and Chisholm ended up winning that in a time of 1:59.06. The Broncos took second and third in 1:59.58, so just a little bit more than a half a second behind, and it was a very competitive race. And then the Broncos took third also in lane 2 in a time of 2:59.36 for the Broncos in that race. Will Serrano, Jake Slatinsky, Adrian Manassa, and Colton Hollis for the Broncos as they took second place. The next event was the 200-yard freestyle. The Broncos ended up taking first and second. Gavin Wilson was the winner in 2:05.65. Coming in second place was Anthony Scholler in 2:15.29. And then the swimmer from Chisholm took third place. Broncos picking up 10 points and led 16-11 after 2 events. The next event was the 200 individual IM, and the Broncos had the only 2 swimmers. Will Serrano won it in 2:24 and with a little bit of change, and then Cody Jansen was in 2:52. So the Broncos pick up all 10 points. They extended their lead to 26-11 at that point. Then the 50-yard freestyle, Chisholm took first and second, picked up 10 team points in that event. The Broncos took third, fourth, and fifth with Ethan Collishaw in third, Josh Worley in fourth, and Daniel Vasiliev in fifth. So the Broncos picked up that 6 points, and their lead was cut down a little bit to 32-21, with Chisholm picking up 10 points, but they got those points right back as Adrian Manassa just won the diving competition. Being the lone diver, he picks up all 6 points, and at this time the Bronco team score is 38-21. I'm going to step over to my left, and I'm going to get the diving score for Adrian, so we have that. So the diving total for Adrian, 182.75 points for his 6 dives there. So a very good dive, especially that last one for for Adrian. So they usually give about 10 minutes of warm-up time for the swimmers to get loose again after the diving competition. I thought maybe with only one diver we might see things go a little bit quicker, but they are taking their time here, and of course no rush, with basically no JV races to speak of, and the no 500, which usually takes between 6 and 8 to 9 minutes to run. Things will go very quickly here. Our first race after we resume the swimming portion will be the 100 butterfly. Will Serrano, who already won the 200 IM, he will be swimming in lane 4. Jake Slatinsky, who was going to swim the 500, moves into lane 2 in that 100 butterfly, and Zach Quirk will swim for Chisholm in lane 3. The next race will be the 100-yard freestyle. We'll have a full boat of 6 swimmers in that race. Then we'll have the 200-yard freestyle, and we'll have 4 teams, 2 from each school, racing in that relay, the 200-yard freestyle relay. Then we'll have the 100-yard backstroke, and 2 swimmers from each team in that one. In the final individual event, we'll have the 100-yard breaststroke, and Chisholm will have 3 swimmers. The Broncos will have 2. And then the final race, of course, just like you see in a track meet, the big race, the track, of course, it's the 4x400. Here in swimming and diving, it's the 4x100. So 400-yard freestyle relay, and each school will have 2 teams swimming in that relay there as we get closer to the resumption of the swimming here. As I see the guys off to my right, and I know you can't see, I'm looking at the pool. There's hardly any swimmers in the pool, but I can see, and I have to spin this around so that you people can see this, because I find this very. Here are the Bronco swimmer on their mats, stretching out, maybe resting a little bit as we get closer to the resumption of this meet here at the Falls High Pool. The Broncos have very few dual meets during the year. They only are going to have 5 dual meets. They did swim at the a scrimmage, essentially, last Thursday down in Hibbing. And as I look to get their entire schedule up here on my cellular device, as I look for, make sure I get this correct. Again, happy to have you along here on kc-tv.org and on Midco Channel 7. And if you're enjoying this and you're enjoying our broadcast, our weekly broadcast here on KCC TV, and our next live broadcast on KCC TV as far as Bronco sports go will be next Friday night, as the Muskies will come across the river to take on the Broncos, and now what has become now the traditional Friday game before Christmas. And it ought to be a great game. It ought to be well attended and a lot of fun to see. And so getting the schedule up here, the Broncos will be down at Mesabi East next Thursday. That'll be their final meet before the holidays. And then they're going to have their invitational here on Saturday, December 28th, over the Christmas holiday. That begins at noon, so come on out and support the swimmers and divers. Usually have 5 or 6 teams that come to that event, and so come support the boys there. After the New Year, the Broncos travel to an invitational at Grand Rapids on January 3rd, an invitational on Saturday, January 11th at Virginia. I noticed that they now had a dual meet with Evelyn Gilbert scratched, and the reason for that is because Evelyn Gilbert and Virginia have joined their boys swimming and diving teams together, as in a couple of years they'll be one school anyway, and so they have taken advantage of that. The State High School League has said any of the teams, so boys or girls, football could be joined together next year if they chose to do that. Basketball could be joined together. Not that that's what they're going to do, but in 2 more years they will be combined together, and of course that'll essentially make them about the size of Hibbing High School. So we'll see a very different way of doing things there. Saturday, January 18th will be the True Team meet in Hibbing, which is always a fun meet where you only get a couple of swimmers and divers, and this is the if you go to the basketball games, you know about throw the ball out there, see if you can get it on the cross. Well, here they're going to throw horseshoes out into the pool, and we'll see if they can how close we can get. Continuing with the schedule there, on Friday, January 24th, the Broncos will be at a triangular at Virginia. Then they'll have an invitational at Mesabi East on Friday, January 31st. They'll have their final dual meet at home of the season on Tuesday, February 4th against Mesabi East. They'll head to Virginia for a dual meet with Virginia Evelyn Gilbert on Friday, February 7th. An away meet at Proctor on February 11th. And then, hey, it's time for sections on February 20th. Again, they will take place in Hibbing just like the girls did. And we'll have that, it seems like it's a long ways away, but just a little bit over 2+ months away, as the teams will be ready for that section meet that will take place in Hibbing. And looks like we didn't sell any horseshoes. Maybe things didn't work out that we thought we were going to have. So we are going to get this meet started, or resumed, I should say, not started. A resumption. We'll have Jake Slatinsky in lane 2, Zach Quirk in lane 3, and Will Serrano in lane 4 of the 100 butterfly. So 2 laps, 4 lengths of the pool here in the butterfly for these 3 gentlemen, as they will get this meet underway. Again, the Broncos leading by a score of 38-21 in the team results. There are 5 events done. There are 6 left to go here in this meet. And we are underway in the 100 butterfly. Again, for the Broncos in the even lanes 2 and 4, that's counting down from the top. Jake Slatinsky at the top of your screen. Then Quirk and Serrano for the Broncos in lane 4. Quirk from Chisholm in lane 3. They've made their first turn, and very, very close. Looks like Quirk maybe a little bit of an advantage there on Slatinsky in lane 2 as they head down to complete their first lap, as this is going to be a very, very even race. It looks like through the first 50 yards here, as just by 28 hundredths of a second, Slatinsky behind the swimmer from Chisholm in Zach Quirk. Again, 8 lengths of the pool here, 4 entire laps in this race. And as it looks like Slatinsky and Quirk very, very close, and Slatinsky going to get the turn first in lane 2 for the Broncos. As Jake has swam this event, and Serrano also making a good turn as he has passed up the swimmer from Chisholm as they come down the stretch here of the second of 4 laps in the 100. Excuse me. This is the final 4 lengths of the pool. Don't get too far out there in front. And the Broncos are going to go 1-2 as Serrano going to make a good comeback as he will win the race in 104.49. Slatinsky will pick up 4 points in 105.63. And Quirk in 108.18. Maybe went out a little quick. Did Quirk there. So the Broncos pick up 10 points. Now have a team score of 48, and Chisholm will pick up 3, so they have 24. And so now we'll have the 100 free for the Broncos in lane 2, Anthony Scholler. In lane 4, Gavin Wilson and Cody Jansen in lane 6. For Chisholm in lane 1, Nathan Splinter. In lane 3 will be Bay Yukich. And in lane 7 will be Noah Varant. So we're ready for the 100 free. Again, this is 4 lengths of the pool. We are underway. Again, the Broncos swimming in the even lanes 2, 4, and 6. Chisholm in the odd lanes 1, 3, and 5. And it looks like the swimmer from Chisholm in lane 3, Yukic, has built a nice early lead, as he's almost out to a body length lead over the 2 swimmers from the Broncos in lanes 2 and 4. That is Scholler and Wilson, as Yukic makes the turn. Yukic, make sure I get that name right. Apologize. As Yukic almost ready to complete his 3rd length, ready to come home on the following lane, as he has built a 3 body length lead on the Broncos swimmers. And that is, again, is Wilson in lane 4. And in lane 2 will be Anthony Scholler, and winning the race in a time of 53.72 seconds for the Chisholm Bluestreaks. The Broncos will come in 2nd and 3rd, as Wilson will come in 56.93, 59.11 there, as the swimmers come in to finish up for the Broncos. Will take 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in that race. So Yukic will pick up 6 points, and Noah Varant in lane, Noah Splinter in lane 1 will pick up 1 point. So the Bluestreaks will pick up 7 points. That means the Broncos will pick up 9 for 4, 3, and 2 for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. And the Broncos will increase their lead to 57-31 here in this race, as the 2 Chisholm swimmers just finishing up their 100 free here, as the next race moving on very, very quickly now. No 500 free, which is usually the next event. So we're going to have the 200-yard freestyle coming up here. Each school will have 2 teams racing. For the Broncos in lane 2 will be Josh Worley, Daniel Vasiliev, Liam Kalashaw, and Brendan Scholler. In lane 4 for the Broncos, Hollis, Gavin Wilson, Ethan Kalashaw, and Cody Jansen, as they're coming over to check which order they are in. For Chisholm, it'll be Klimek, Gearman, Quirk, and Yukic in lane 3. And in lane 5, it will be Sucho, Yukic, Higgins, and Wangenstein for the Chisholm Bluestreaks. So we'll have this 200, each swimmer doing a lap here in the pool, down and back, and then we'll bring the next swimmer in here. Again, the Broncos in lanes 2 and 4 as we are underway in the 200-yard freestyle. Bluestreaks with an early lead off of the blocks in this first length. And we'll make the turn first here. Will be the Chisholm Bluestreaks in lane 3, that leading Klimek, who has had a very nice meet here, as he leads this race. And the Bluestreaks will be into the pool with the 2nd swimmer first here, and closing quickly here. The Broncos in lane 4 and also in lane 2 for the Broncos. In lane 4, that'll be Gavin Wilson. Daniel Vasiliev in lane 2 for the Broncos, as Wilson trying to close the gap here on the Chisholm swimmer in this 2nd length of the 200-yard free relay. About a 2.5 body length here lead for the Chisholm as we are at the halfway mark of this race. And now in for the Broncos, swimming in the third leg is going to be Ethan Collishaw. For the Bluestreaks will be Zach Quirk. As the lead looks like it's stayed about the same here. Maybe the Bluestreaks extending it a little bit on the Broncos in this relay and looking to pick up 8 possible points here for the relay win are the Chisholm Bluestreaks. As their final swimmer is in, and for the Broncos, Cody Jansen will be in, and Bay Ukic for the Bluestreaks. As the looks like the Broncos have closed a little bit as I look down there. A couple of body length lead only. But it looks like Bay Ukic will finish this up for the Chisholm Bluestreaks and give them the 8 points for the team score. As the Bluestreaks will finish up here. And so will the Broncos. 147.85, the winning time for the Bluestreaks. For the Broncos, about 3.5 seconds behind in 151.24. And now we'll see what where the other racers will finish up here. And tough to tell. I think the Broncos are on their final swimmer out there in lane 2. That is, I believe, Brendan Scholler. Not 100% sure on that, as I was watching the race for first and second. And the Chisholm Bluestreaks look like they're getting ready for their possible final swimmer here as well, getting set. I don't see anybody going up onto the blocks for the Broncos. As here comes Scholler in for the relay team from the Broncos in lane 2. And so the Broncos, not sure why the time stopped in your lower part of your screen, but it did. So the Broncos will take third place as well, so they'll pick up 6 points. So the Broncos add those 6, now have a team score of 63, 8 points for the Bluestreaks, and they will have 39. So a 24-point lead here for the Broncos with 3 events remaining: the 100-yard backstroke, the 100-yard breaststroke, and the 400 free relay. These boys are swimming quickly back to back. You know, usually you have a JV race in between. You have some time to recoup it. Some of these kids are swimming a lot of the races back to back, not getting much break in there. So we'll see how that impacts maybe some of the times as we go along here. Again, here comes the 100-yard backstroke. 2 swimmers from each school. For the Broncos in lane 2 will be William Ginter. Adrian Manassa will be in lane 4. For the Bluestreaks, it'll be Mason Chuck in lane 3 and Nathan Splinter in lane 5. So Chisholm will send out an 8th grader and a 7th grader, and the Broncos send out a 7th grader and a 10th grader here. So a little bit of youth in this race as we get ready for the 100-yard backstroke. The swimmers obviously will start in the pool. No starting on the blocks, but they will get themselves ready to go here. 4 lengths of the pool. We are underway in this 100-yard backstroke. Again, the Broncos in lanes 2 and 4. And Chisholm in lanes 3 and 5. Again, from the top of the screen as you see it, 2, 3, 4, 5. Working down, and a quick lead for Adrian Manassa in lane 4 as he's already made his turn on this first lap of the 100-yard backstroke. Mason Chuck in lane 3 for the Bluestreaks. He makes it the turn second, and then Ginter for the Broncos will do it in third place. As Manassa ready to complete his first lap. 1 more to go as he leads at the halfway mark, and the swimmer from Chisholm, Chuck, is sitting about halfway in between, right in the middle of the 2 swimmers for the Broncos, as Manassa quickly working his way down the pool here, ready to make his final turn. As he will head in and look like he will pick up 16 points for the Broncos with a nice win here in the 100-yard backstroke. Chuck looks like he will comfortably will be in second, and then a race for third between Ginter and Splinter coming up as Manassa finishes up here in a time of 109.55 to take first place. As here comes Chuck for the Bluestreaks as he finishes in lane 3, and his time is going to be 1:25.85. And as we look at the race for third here, it comes down the stretch. It's going to be very, very close. Looks like the Bronco swimmer up in lane 2 has a little bit of an edge there. William Ginter looking for the 3 points for the Broncos, and that would give 2 to Nathan Splinter in lane 5. So the Broncos will pick up 9 points in the team event here. Team score, they sit at 72, and for the Bluestreaks, they will pick up 6 points and 45. So the Broncos leading at 72-45. As we've got 2 events left, the 100-yard breaststroke and then the 400-yard free relay. 5 swimmers here, 2 for the Broncos. Brendan Scholler in lane 2, Jake Slatinsky, the junior, in lane 4 for the Falls. It will be Pace Jukic, the 7th grader from Chisholm, in lane 1. Jonah Gierman in lane 4, the senior for Chisholm, and then Kelvin Wangenstein in lane 5 for the Chisholm Bluestreaks. Again, this is a 100-yard breaststroke, 4 lengths of the pool, 2 laps as we get set here for this race. And we are underway. Again, the Broncos swimming in lanes 2 and 4. Chisholm will be in lanes 1, 3, and 5. Very even are the 2 racers in the middle of the pool here. In Gierman and Slatinsky as they make the turn simultaneously as they make their way back down. Again, 4 lengths of the pool here in this race, and just about a dead heat in the middle of the pool between Slatinsky and Gierman. As they come in to finish their first lap, 1 more to go. Slatinsky will have a slight edge, and it'll be by just over a half a second, as Slatinsky may be starting to stretch out the lead a little bit, just over a half body length lead as they go past the halfway mark on the pool here in this final lap. Slatinsky looks like he's lengthening that lead, maybe out to a body length lead as he makes the turn and heads for home. Slatinsky looking for the win here in the 100-yard breaststroke. And it looks like he has increased that to more than a body length lead, as you can hear the boys in the background yelling out stroke and get the things done, as Slatinsky is going to pick up the win, and he will pick it up in 1:18:53. And the Chisholm swimmer there in Gierman will come in second place in 1:24:33. So winning by nearly 6 seconds is going to be Slatinsky. And now the race for third place in those 3 team points, as Gierman picks up 4 for the Bluestreaks, and looks like the swimmer Wangenstein from, the swimmer out in lane 1 and Jukic in the lead, and then it's going to be Wangenstein, and then it looks like Brendan Scholler very even towards the end as these swimmers look to finish up and pick up those team points, those all-important team points along the way. As in lane 1, Jukic is going to finish up in 2:08:02, and then it looks like Wangenstein in lane 5 is going to edge out Brendan Scholler, who's in lane 2. So finishing up there in 4th place, and it will be Scholler in 5th place. So the Broncos will pick up 7 points on the team for 79. And, that'll be 8 points for the Broncos. So 80 points. And 7 points if I've done my, no, I had it right the first time. 7 and 79. 9 points for Chisholm. They've got 54. And so now just the final relay left. So the Broncos are going to win this team event because the Bluestreaks can pick up at best 12 points, and the Broncos leading it by 25 points. So the Broncos are going to win this dual meet by a certain score. We'll find that out, of course, after this race. In lane 2 for the Falls will be Anthony Scholler, Ethan Collishaw, Josh Worley, and Cody Jansen. In lane 4 will be Will Serrano, Adrian Manassa, Gavin Wilson, and Jake Slatinsky as we get ready for this 400 free relay. And we are quickly underway. Not even 5:30, and we're to the final event here at the Falls High Pool. As the Broncos take an early lead here with Will Serrano, who has had a very nice day in the pool, as he leads the way. 2nd place to the Broncos. Chisholm in 3rd place in lane 3. And in 4th place in lane 5. Remember, these swimmers will swim 4 lengths, 2 laps of the pool, and then they'll tag off to their teammate, who will come in The Broncos sitting in first and second place. Again, Serrano stretching out that lead in lane 4. In lane 2 again for the Broncos, this is Anthony Scholler. As making the turn and heading back for home here is Serrano. And for the Broncos, coming in will be Adrian Manassa, as he will be the second swimmer in lane 4 for the Broncos. In lane 2, it'll be Ethan Colishot. High over the top there for the Broncos is Adrian Manassa. And the Broncos in 1-2 in the pool. Chisholm ready to make their first tag and get their second swimmer in here in the 4x100, the 400-yard relay. 4x100 as the Broncos cruising here in lane 4 with Adrian Manassa, the winner in the diving portion earlier in this meet against the Chisholm Bluestreaks, as the Broncos going to win this dual meet. And what a nice comeback here by the Chisholm swimmer in lane 3, and Klimek, who has had a very nice meet. Speaking of nice meets, he has put the Bluestreaks into second place there as they move ahead of the team from International Falls in lane 2. But making his way for his final 25 yards here is Adrian Manassa in lane 4, as the Broncos have built a better than a half pool length lead. Ready to come into the pool will be Gavin Wilson as he stands on the starting blocks, and he is in, as the Broncos, again, about a half a pool length lead here. For the Chisholm Bluestreaks, it will be Jonah Gearman who will be coming in, as the Broncos build that lead there, and making the turn already is Gavin Wilson. So better than a half a pool length lead here for the Falls as they look to win this 4x100 relay. The free relay here, the final event of this meet. Broncos' third swimmer is also into the pool in lane 2. And for the Broncos, that is Josh Worley. And already making the turn and heading down for his second lap here is Wilson. As the length lead here for the Broncos, almost the entire length of the pool, so nearly 25 yards as Wilson makes the turn for home. And Jake Slatinsky will head in, the junior, ready to come back the other way. Slatinsky eager as he waits and times it, and early on in the year, that's something to be worked on. Into the pool very safely. You don't want to get DQ'd early in the season by trying to get out there too early, as the Broncos have better than a pool length lead here with Slatinsky. Finishing up here for the Chisholm Bluestreaks is going to be Gearman. He'll hand off to Bay Jukic, the final swimmer for the Chisholm relay that is in lane 3, as here comes Slatinsky in to touch for the first lap as he turns. And as I look down the pool and I'll pan over, you can see Chisholm not yet making their first turn. Finally, Jukic doing that, as the Broncos are going to win this relay, the 400-yard relay, very, very comfortably here in the final race of the day here at the Falls High Pool. And here comes Slatinsky in, and should be a time a little bit under 4 minutes, it looks like, as I take a pan to the right with my vision, and you guys, of course, can see that as the Broncos win at 3:53.85. Nice time there for the Broncos in lane 2. This again is Josh Worley. Pardon me, no, this is already Cody Jansen as he makes his turn for his final lap. And Bay Jukic, you can see the lead that he has on the second place team from the Broncos, and the third place team overall, as Chisholm will finish up this 400 free relay in a time of 4:20.65. And the Broncos, again, Cody Jansen in lane 2 at the top of your screen. He will pick up the final 2 points for the Broncos in this meet. And of course, there's always the chance that the Broncos will go exhibition. I don't know if that is what's going to happen here, but the Broncos are in. Cody Jansen with a time of 4:42.23 for that relay, second relay team for the Broncos. So the Broncos will pick up 10 points there. With the 2 relays, they will have 89. Chisholm will pick up 4 points there. It'll be a final score of 89-58. The Broncos getting the dual meet win here against the Chisholm Bluestreaks on the opening swim, the opening meet of this season, as the Chisholm Bluestreak team here in lane 5 still has 1 swimmer to go. We've been happy to bring this meet to you here, even as quick as it was, here on kcc-tv.org and also on Midco Channel 7. Our next broadcast will be next Friday night as the Muskies and the Broncos play in boys hockey, and that game will come to you from Bronco Arena. It ought to be a raucous crowd as both sides early in the season. The Muskies with a very fine team, and the Broncos have played very well over the last couple of games, winning 6-2 and 5-2, and looking to continue that success as they will be taking on tonight at home the Proctor Rails. The Broncos looking to improve above 500, improve that record 2-3-2 on the season. And of course, the Bronco boys basketball team is also at home tonight. They are taking on Evelyn Gilbert, and the Broncos sitting on the season 1-1 are the boys, and they will be looking to move above the 500 mark as they take on the Evelyn Gilbert Golden Bears. That game you can see on the YouTube channel, the ISD 361 YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed to that, you can see just about every event that goes on in the Falls High Gym now, boys, girls, JV, whatever it is, you'll be able to pick that up on that YouTube channel. So please do that and enjoy that as well if you're going to stay home and stay nice and warm, as it is, warmed up a little bit today, right, along the way. But again, this doing more and more, you'll be able to see more and more video, and so that's happening tonight. And the Bronco girls basketball team the varsity team will get started here in about 10 minutes as they have an early game at Virginia. That game had to be moved up as the girls team from Virginia basketball team has a very special event going on at the boys hockey game in Virginia tonight, so they moved that time up and got things going here, and that finishes up the meet there as the Chisholm team in lane 5 of Chuck Higgins, Varant, and Splinter came in and finished it up. The Broncos, if my numbers are correct, are going to win this meet by a final score of 89-58. That is also going to wrap up our coverage here from the Falls High Pool. Hope you've enjoyed it again. If it's something that you enjoy watching, you wanted to see us do more sports, we need your help. Go on to kcc-tv.org. You can find a way to make a donation there, and we would really appreciate it if you did that. For everybody at KCC TV, this is Tim Ringhofer wishing you a very good evening.